name is Jemma Garside and I'm a specialist community care solicitor at Boys Turner. I regularly act for people who've been affected by a brain injury, and so I know how devastating this can be, both for those directly affected and for those who care and support them. Through the work Boys Turner do, we've become involved with the charity Headway Thames Valley, and my colleague Kim Smurden is a trustee. Today, I'm talking to Jamie Higgins from the charity. This charity offers support to those affected by brain injury, their family and friends, and where possible, they help people rebuild their lives. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Gemma. How are you doing? I'm Jamie. I'm the manager of Headway Thames Valley.
Great. Thanks for joining me. Jamie, can you please just give us a brief introduction about who you are and your role?
14, and I've been manager for almost 2 years now. As a charity, we support adults who have suffered a brain injury in Berkshire and South Oxfordshire, and we also provide support for their families and friends.
What is your mission statement and the key areas of focus for your charity?
A brain injury ticks a lot of boxes, really. So a stroke, we work with people who've had stroke, cardiac arrest, complications during operations, traumatic brain injury, which is often the result of an impact to the skull, often seen in things like traffic accidents, assaults, occasionally sports injuries, for example. Brain injuries are relatively common, and they're actually one of the fastest growing disabilities in the country. So the work that we do revolves around rehabilitating and supporting these people. We provide a range of services to our clients, and the goal is ultimately for them to live as independently as possible following their brain injury. For some of them, the ambition is for them to get back into paid employment, whereas for others, we work with them extensively, and our goal is to simply offer them as rich and fulfilling life as possible.
Do you do anything in terms of raising awareness within the local community?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of our major goals. We don't feel people know enough about brain injury. Often people find out about brain injury when it happens to them or one of their family members, and it's a massive shock. A brain injury can happen to anyone at any time, and it doesn't just affect the individual, but it does affect everyone around them. The more people know about brain injury, the better. So we do put on talks at various businesses, social services, schools, as well as doing talks around reducing brain injuries. So we do some work with young offenders who may have been involved in assaults, for example, and we also do some work around the use of cycle helmets, because we certainly believe that looking after your head is a really good way to avoid a brain injury.
Absolutely. And obviously at the moment we're living through these unprecedented times as a result of coronavirus pandemic. But we know that there's still cases of brain injury happening despite the lockdown, and this is happening alongside COVID-19. So what issues are you aware of at the moment from those seeking support from the charity?
There are issues. We've continued to accept new referrals throughout the pandemic, and that was something we were really keen to continue with. As I said, brain injury can impact anyone at any time. And it's often the case that, from our experience, people are getting brilliant support in hospitals. But when they're being discharged, sometimes they don't know where to turn to next. We'll often hear of people going to their GP, and their GP will say all the right things, but ultimately they'll refer them back to the NHS, and there's often an 8 to 10 month wait for them to get back in the system. We appreciate it when people are notified about our services, and when that happens, we feel that they've got the best chance of making the best recovery possible. So we are continuing to work with clients throughout lockdown. It has been more difficult, of course, but we're really proud that when someone's referred to our services, we're usually in touch with them and their families within a week, and we start the support right there and then. So we've had to do it in a slightly different way now, but ultimately we're on the phone to them. They're usually talking to our occupational therapist, who comes with over 30 years experience in brain injury, who is providing them with immediate support and education around brain injury, but also with a view to working out which of our current services they can slot into and which of our future services they can get involved with when we get back to some sense of normality. So we have continued with that. And referral numbers over the last few years have been going up for us. And we think they're only going to go up further, purely down to the fact that COVID-19 has been linked to brain injury as a potential cause of brain injury. And we have seen that in 1 or 2 recent referrals. So we're aware that that number of people being referred to us is on the rise, and our services are more vital than ever before.
Absolutely. And so in terms of the existing people that are benefiting from your service, what sort of experience have they had in terms of the lockdown? Have they reported to you how they've been coping and feeling?
Yeah, you know, one of our main pieces of advice that we give to people, and we try and instill in them, is a sense of routine and structure. Often when someone has a brain injury, their routine is gone. It's a lot of people will stop working. They'll lose an element of their sense of purpose. And a routine is one of the most vital things for someone with a brain injury in their recovery. Everyday tasks such as getting out of bed, preparing a meal, brushing your teeth, getting ready in the morning can be more challenging. And the more and more times you do that within a routine, the more routine it will become, and you can use your energy and all your cognitive function doing more tasks. So the routine went, as soon as we went into lockdown, all that work we had done with clients in trying to put a routine together for them went out the window, and that was a massive problem for the majority of the clients we worked with. Having said that, there were 1 or 2 clients that actually perhaps benefited slightly from the lockdown. And it wasn't many, but some really struggled with things like anxiety, and actually found that interacting with people over a screen was almost a benefit to them, and they found that easier. But certainly the vast majority did struggle. And for us, the team here, the staff, the volunteers, have been extremely adaptable in putting together services to continue supporting our clients. And I'm really proud of the work we've done during lockdown to do that.
That's amazing. I mean, I can only imagine how difficult that's been for a lot of people. I mean, these video meetings, they're tiring as well, so that must be really difficult. So you said that your staff have managed to continue working. How have you adapted? What kind of support are you able to offer at the moment?
Yeah, so prior to lockdown, we offered a range of services. One of them was our centre. So the people that attend our centre are probably more severe brain injury. We work with people right from concussion to severe brain injury. And the majority who we meet who have a severe brain injury will come to our centre. And we've got people who have had a brain injury in the last 6 months who come to our centre, but we've also got some who've been coming to our centre for 20 years. And it's a massive part of their lives. For some of them, they will attend our centre and they may well say, thank you very much, I don't need it anymore. Whereas the majority will come to our centre and they'll continue coming to our centre for the foreseeable future. It offers them a chance to access activities that they couldn't do without our services. And it's also a place for them to come and socialise and meet like-minded people who understand the problems that they face. So we've got people that come to our centre once or twice a week, and those were the ones who we thought would be most at most risk following the lockdown. So we put in place immediately phone calls with all those clients and their families. So in the first couple of weeks, it was making sure they had the right supplies, and and making sure that they had all the right things that they needed. And in some cases, we were sending them supplies that we had, or certainly putting them in touch with organisations that could do shopping for them and that sort of thing. But we were also asking them questions around technology. Did they have the right technology to access online services if we were to put them in? And a lot of them didn't. We work with people who've had brain injuries for over 10, 15, 20 years, and technology to some extent has left them behind. And prior to lockdown, we didn't need it to work with them. So we worked extensively in making sure that they had internet. We loaned them our iPads, laptops, anything we could get hold of. We were fortunate to win a couple of grants. We managed to buy a new tablet, and we've given them out to clients, and we've managed to put on a lot of remote support sessions. So we do a Tai Chi class, we do a chair exercise aerobic class, there are regular social groups, and there's also a fantasy football group, which is well loved by some of the group here. So I'm really pleased with those services that those clients have been able to support, and we've got some clients who will be accessing 4 remote sessions a week, and their families are encouraged to join in with those. And I'm really pleased that we've got to that point, because it was something I actually didn't feel was going to be possible with our client base. And I'm really pleased that we have got there, and it's a good service that people are getting a lot out of. So I'm happy with that. Other clients that we work with, we run something called a Living with Brain Injury course, which is for more mild, moderate brain injury. Whenever I talk about mild brain injury, I always have to mention that it's called a mild brain injury, but someone can have a mild brain injury and perhaps never work again. It's still a pretty serious incident, and has a massive impact on someone's life. But when we meet people with mild and moderate brain injury, if we feel they have a good level of awareness about the impact that a brain injury has had on them, we'll often point them in the direction of our Living with Brain Injury course, which we run alongside an NHS service called the Community-Based Neuro Rehab Team, and that is an 8-week course that I guess the aim is to educate people around brain injury, improve their awareness, and ultimately instill a level of acceptance around their brain injury to give them the best possible chance to make a good recovery. The Living with Brain Injury course we've also put on online for the first time ever, and that was a big success, and we're about to start our second online Living with Brain Injury course next Monday, so I'm really proud of that service as well. There have been 1 or 2 clients who haven't been able to get online. We've continued supporting them over the phone, and we're also posting regular information packs and advice from our OT to clients as well, so that's pretty good.
Wow, the ability to adapt has been really quite incredible. So in terms of coming out of lockdown, do you see any of the services that you started providing remotely continuing? I mean, you said that your Living with Brain Injury course, the second one, is starting next week. Do you think that into the future that you'll be doing more things online?
Well, our experience is certainly so far, it's a really good plan B. It's a great backup. I don't ever think it's going to be plan A. And a lot of it is to do with brain injury in itself. People struggling with communication, struggling with focus, and fatigue is a massive part of brain injury. And certainly I find conversations over a screen are more tiring than face-to-face. You've got to find the right moments to interrupt, and you've got to pick the right cues, and all of that plays a massive impact for someone with a brain injury. So for us, as I say, they're a really good plan B. The one thing I will say is, prior to lockdown, the only times we would be referred someone, and we may not be meeting them within the first couple of weeks for an assessment, is if they couldn't get to one of our locations across Berkshire or South Oxfordshire. We don't go into people's houses for referrals, so we ask them to get to Bracknell, to Reading, to Henley, to Newbury, and meet with us. And if they can't do that, then ultimately we'll wait for them to be able to do so. the one thing that we've said, we will, if that is the case, we will meet with people over Zoom, over Teams, and it's a really good backup plan.
So, a lot of charities are facing difficult times at the moment, with normal fundraising activities and events being cancelled. If people watching would like to support Headway Thames Valley, what's the best thing they can do at the moment?
Well, we've been fortunate to have been supported by a number of organisations and individuals during lockdown, and I'm amazed at the stuff people are coming up with. We were fortunate to be selected by a local golf club to be their charity of the year, and they had a whole year of fundraising planned for us. And when lockdown came along, that I thought it was over and done with. But their captain cycled, I think, the length of Britain in her shed for us, and has raised an incredible amount of money. We've had a local care home teaming up and running a marathon on a treadmill. People have been really imaginative with the way that they're doing things. So we certainly encourage that, not just because it's a great way to bring in money, but it raises our profile when people are putting it out there. And it's great to show the clients, to say, look at what people are doing for us. And then there are many ways to donate money to us online, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on our website. Just search Headway Thames Valley and we're on there. We've got an amazing fundraiser who, if anyone does have any ideas and they would like to support us, do get in touch with us, and our fundraiser will be in touch and can talk about a number of ways to support us.
Excellent. That's great. Well, thank you for speaking with me today, Jamie.
Thank you for having me, Jemma. I really enjoyed it.